Show.
Initialize sequence now.
Morning, folks.
It's a real thing.
The Edge Morning Show.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Edge Morning Show.
With Chris Knight, Eric Johnson, Fox 2's Vic Faust, and Tabitha Hassell.
The Edge starts now.
Morning.
Is everybody ready?
It'll be hot today.
It's hot again today.
It's too hot today.
It's hot. It's humid.
Also very humid.
How hot is it?
Surface of the sun.
Hotter in the car seat in August.
Hotter than a $2 piston.
How hot is that?
It's so hot. So hot.
But not you. Not you.
You guys are cool. Exactly. Cool.
It's showtime, baby.
Hey, it is showtime. It's going to get hot in here with our topics, but it's not hot outside.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. Fall has returned. How beautiful it is throughout the St. Louis and Missouri area. Last night was absolutely amazing. At about, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sun came out. It was cool. There was no humidity.
Finally.
It felt like fall to me. I know we've got listeners all across the country and the world for that matter, so I don't know how it was for you guys yesterday. But it was absolutely amazing in the Show Me State. My gosh, we had 11, I think it was 11 or 12 straight days of 90 or above. Yesterday did not hit that, but man, oh man, was it gorgeous.
It was
and this
cold.
morning, it was not cold.
It's cold today.
You're a woman, and women
Are we
always
naturally
more,
colder?
Yeah, women are always most of the time, colder
I was
than men.
freezing
all the
yesterday.
time. Cold-hearted snake.
About right.
That does sound right. You're wearing black. What's up with your shirt today? It's like you got your shirt all like ripped up and stuff. It's like
Well, it's not ripped.
your
It's,
inner Eric
it's called
showing
strappy.
skin. What is that called?
Strappy. I call it strappy.
What the hell? It looks like somebody ripped your shirt apart.
They're little cold shoulder cutouts.
Are you trying to be? What are you trying to? Look at that thing. I'm sure our viewers and listeners love it. Chris, what do you think? I like it, Tabitha.
It's a lot more than what I had on yesterday.
No wonder, Chris, when she walked in. Is it really?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the thing. Tabitha walks into the studio this morning. By the way, good Tuesday morning to everybody. Happy June 22nd. Chris Knight's here. That's Tabitha Hassell in her shirt. I'm Vic Faust. Fox 2. Eric Johnson will be in. We have a big show coming up. I'll get into that in a moment. But first, the shirt that Tabitha's wearing. Chris, can we get that shirt from Tabitha back on the air?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, come on.
It's just a shirt.
Hey, Chris, Tabitha walks in and goes, I'm freezing. It's cold in here.
She is so short that you can only see like
My
her
neck.
shoulders.
Hey, now.
Tabitha, can you get up on the desk again like you did last week?
No. I'm not getting on the desk.
Yeah. Look, no wonder you're cold.
They're just cutouts. They're like arm cutouts.
All right. That's awesome. It almost matches
I'm showing my muscles.
Eric's blouse that he wears.
His pirate man
I still can't
blouse.
believe. I still can't believe he wore that blouse out.
I can't believe it
I know
either.
entertainers are entertainers, but wow. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, coming up today at 8:30, we're going to talk with Rockwood Safety Officer Ty Dennis. I know he pissed a lot of people off the last time he was on. He was talking about police, or at least listeners on Facebook, by the comments that we saw. But Ty is a good guy. He's been fighting the good fight. He was in the drug unit in Atlanta. He retired there after several years. He's a St. Louis native. And now he's back in went to Marquette. Now he's back in the Rockwood School District as our safety officer. He's going to talk about all the deaths that we're starting to see. It is an absolute war zone in St. Louis.
Oh, yes, it is.
And we had another officer shot and killed in Denver yesterday. And officer shooting deaths are up. Not shooter involved, but officers being killed. 40%
absolutely so.
in 2021. It is outrageous. It's over the top. And if anybody doesn't have a problem with this, then you have a problem with law, and you have a problem with society, and you have a problem with anything that kept this society going, because right now it's unimaginable to think that's what's happening to police. It's over the top.
It is.
And those are just the things that we hear about, not the ATF guys, not the undercover guys, not the stuff that's going on. Ty's going to come in with some strong thoughts on that today. You won't want to miss Ty at 8:30. If you have questions, let us know. We'll ask him too. Usually the best way to do that when we have him on the phone line is through Facebook. You can catch us there at 100.7 the Viper. And then coming up at 9 o'clock from the Missouri Times, Scott Vaughn. Nobody knows more about politics in the state of Missouri than Scott. He's been doing it longer. He knows every player. I asked him how serious the situation right now. Governor Parson came out yesterday, and he's got a problem on his hands. Consider COVID. Consider all the money that the state has lost. Right now, Scott Vaughn calls this the toughest situation that the governor has dealt with. And this is the most pressing issue the state has faced since Governor Greitens quit. And this is all about Medicaid expansion, funding, and major cuts coming to the state. Major. Scott's going to break that down at 9 o'clock. You won't want to miss it. That's when we talk about heating up the studio. That's what we're going to do.
Right.
If you have questions at 9, you can do that. Plus, you're going to hear from a 9-year-old girl who went before her school board in Minnesota and passionately went after what she called hypocrisy from her principal when it comes to politics. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. Big show planned. Plus, we take your calls, 636-695-2915. And your questions on Facebook at 100.7 The Viper. All right, before we get into it all, how was your alumni golf tournament yesterday?
It was the St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame golf tournament.
Okay.
It was absolutely amazing. It's such a good group of people. It was a really good time.
Good. I had the St. Louis Tiger Quarterback Club, Missouri Tiger
Right.
Quarterback Club meeting yesterday. Unfortunately, none of the coaches, Mizzou football coaches, could come because June is a huge recruiting month all of a sudden because of COVID. And Mondays, recruits are allowed at the University of Missouri campus, so no coaches were allowed, but still had a good time getting out and trying to promote Justin Gage, my favorite Missouri Tiger of all time, was there, and myself. So
Aw.
we were two former Tigers out there.
Did you get a photo with him?
I didn't. We didn't have a chance. We were racing around, saw him in a cart, said hi. That was it. We're driving.
The
two
golf,
ways.
yeah, it's
Plus, I had to
always
get back,
busy.
and I had to get back to work. I wasn't able to stay after. So.
Oh, you're one of those. You're one
Yeah,
of
well,
those.
morning radio, get the golf in, get the TV. It's woo! We're racing and running around. So, okay. Thanks for that. Just wake up a little bit.
I don't know
Yeah,
what Chris-
baby.
He dropped something a minute ago. I don't know what he's doing over there.
That's what it was.
So, nobody. I'm just
Bang.
for our listeners to do what we do on the Facebook page, to do what we do on radio, to get the web stream up, to get all the graphics going, to get the computer system up, to put the Band-Aids here, put the tape there, you kick in the machine over here to make everything. Somebody's got to do that.
Yes.
Chris does all that,
Yes, he does.
and he does a pretty damn good job.
I
of it.
couldn't do it. There's
Well,
no way I
and
could
we
do
I
it.
follow
know.
fish.
We've seen that. You've proved it.
Yes.
But that's all right.
Did you
done it.
notice the camera set up this morning when you got here?
No, I didn't. I come in and I'm looking at all news and headlines.
I was here at like 11 or 12 o'clock last night.
Who was here?
I was.
Why?
Because I had to come in and fix something because I couldn't log into the system. So I'm always fixing fish's stuff.
What the hell is he doing with the
I
equipment?
don't know. I told him last night, everything's your fault.
I was told that he's a tinkerer. He tinkers.
Tinkers with things,
And
yes.
people who are born tinkers, they can't stop tinkering. And every work has a tinker. We know that.
True, yes.
Every family has somebody who likes to tinker. It's kind of like that grandpa or that old uncle who just wants to tinker.
Yeah, I'm not a
Fish is our
tinker.
tinker.
And by the way, we like to tease Fish is super, super,
He is
super talented and super
Very
kind.
sweet guy.
Yeah. So if he was volatile, we probably wouldn't be saying that because he'd be banging on the door to get in.
Yeah, he'd
Right.
come up here and get you, Vic.
So, Fish, that's for you. Okay. We're going to get into this last night. The disgust in people's face in the newsroom when we see these stories come down. 7 people shot,
Well,
3 die last night at about 7:30. You can't make this stuff up. And that happened in the Greaterville neighborhood. This happens after Sunday, where we had at least 12 people shot and other multiple people killed. Almost all, and I think every one of the shootings, you can check me on it if you want, and you call it what it is, the African American men in their late 20s or 30s in the city of St. Louis.
it's drugs and gangs,
And
neighborhood
that's-
fights,
and that was my
neighborhood
point.
beef, back and forth.
What
Little
there's-
turf wars.
And there's no regard for the law. Yet we have less police in the city. You have less cars. We already know that if you see a police car, it's going to be a deterrent. It is.
54 police officers on duty at any given time is not enough. It's not enough.
So what's going to happen? And we're way ahead of last year's record pace. This has become a major problem. Major for Mayor Tashara Jones. Now, I know that she was elected. There was only about 30% of the vote that went out. If St. Louis continues to get so bad, there's not, I mean, it's for all the good things that are happening in the city that I talk about, there's no way to look around this. It is as bad as it could be. And if it continues to get bad, eventually people are going to move out of St. Louis, or the people who are there are going to show up and they're going to vote at like 60 or 70% and get somebody who's going to take a serious approach to crime. Long-term goals, I agree with what Tashara is trying to do. Some people disagree with me. I know her as a person. I like her. But what are you going to do, as Jane Duker said last week, in the meantime, while you're setting up these long-term goals? Because right now, there is nothing in place to stop the violence. And if there is, please call us. Please Facebook us. Please let us know. 636-695-2915. Tell us what is happening in St. Louis to stop the violence, to prosecute.
And we're only hearing half the story. Think about that.
I know.
Because you know what we're not seeing is crime statistics outside of homicides.
That's the other point.
And yesterday, a St. Louis City police officer friend of mine, we were kind of talking, and we were talking about the statistics and the crime.
Hey,
and
real quick before you say that, yeah, great point from the Facebook line. We're pretty close to Chicago with the shootings. They had 58 last weekend. Chicago gets worse. St. Louis gets worse.
And it's more than,
and they're being run the same way.
And it's more than just the shooting. He was reading off this list of different crimes that have taken place in the city. The list, I mean, was so long. They're all, just think about all the assaults, the rapes, the robberies, the carjackings, the things that we don't even hear about because they stopped reporting those statistics online in December of 2020. We don't know what's going on. And I'm telling you what, crime, I'm hearing, is up 80%.
Oh, my God.
80%.
Sorry, but just...
And not, all crimes outside of homicide, 80% in the city of St. Louis.
And why should you care if you're in St. Charles, Jefferson County, Lincoln County, St. Louis County? Because it all branches out. It will, and it does. It affects our region. There's no businesses coming here. I mean, nobody wants to come. We're the mockery when it comes to national news. We were already a national news story last night with over about 25 shootings in 2 days. Father's Day, happy Father's Day. And then the shootings and then the murders that continue to happen. We had Police Chief Hayden on. Rocky Madden, I'm going to miss him, man. He is the best reporter in St. Louis by far. He got Chief Hayden live during our 9 o'clock newscast last night on Fox 2. And John's like, well, every situation, Chief Hayden's like, every situation has its own set of circumstances. And I'm like, they're befuddled. There's no witnesses. Nobody's coming forward. And the shootings continue. There is nothing to make you believe, as a resident of this state, that the St. Louis metropolitan area is going to become more safe.
It's going to get so much worse.
I want somebody to say, no, it is. Here's
so
why.
Much worse.
But I don't see anything right now.
It's going to be so much worse. I mean, we're just at a point right now where, with the current administration we have in St. Louis City, they, in my opinion, they empower the criminals. They empower the criminal element. Then we have a prosecutor who's not prosecuting people. We have people who were charged over a year ago with violent felonies. And guess what? They've still not been prosecuted.
You can't continue to blame COVID all the time. That's for sure.
You cannot blame COVID. It's not even about COVID. And just think when they closed the workhouse, which they did, I guess, already, think of all the people they're just releasing out into the streets, violent offenders. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Where are we going with this?
I really don't know why it was closed, but it was, and that's what it is.
It was a dangerous facility for, I believe, for everyone.
As you guys brought up on the radio show, over 160 people sent to Kentucky, away from lawyers, away from families.
Right.
And it's costing to do that.
It costs a lot of money per bed. Yes, it does.
And I'm like, well, it just didn't make sense. But here we are. There's where we go. I mean, it's not a great situation. That's for sure. And in the midst of this, you also have St. Louis City and St. Louis County now suing to block the governor's law, claiming to invalidate federal gun laws. We're going to get into that as well. like we said, it's packed. And yeah, from the Facebook line, I already hear somebody saying they want to know what the hell's going on with Medicaid
Yes.
and the governor coming out. I mean, it was as angry as I've seen the governor yesterday. He called out Garza at the end of last summer for giving wrong data, or it was like September, for giving wrong data when it came and scaring people. This blows that away. He was just flat out angry yesterday, and he was calling out Republicans as well yesterday.
What is he angry about? I missed all that. I don't know.
Well, and that's what Scott Fawn from the Missouri Times is going to explain at 9 o'clock when it comes to what gets covered, what doesn't get covered, the stops. Because if they don't get a plan passed for this budget with Medicaid expansion, he's talking about the cuts like the state has never seen. And that'll come to infrastructure, it'll come to schools, and the trickle-down effect happens. It's not good. It's going to get ugly.
I think I agree with Medicaid expansion just because it costs us more for uninsured people to go to the hospitals or emergency rooms because they're not making doctor appointments if they don't have insurance. They're going to the emergency rooms, and that costs all of us money. We're going to end up spending more money we do spend more money now than what we will in taxes with the Medicaid expansion.
Well,
but there's parts of it that I don't agree with.
And those are 2 or 3 topics. Another big topic, all of the crime that's going on. We've touched on it loosely this week when it comes to just walking into stores, taking what you want, shoplifting, take what you want, and then nothing happening.
I have a little bit of an update on that, by the way. And when we talked about Quick Trip before and people just walking into Quick Trip and leaving.
Do it right now. We're just getting we're going over some of the topics to talk about today. Give us the update.
I heard that Quick Trip has hired their own private armed security now. So a lot of the Quick Trips now have an armed security guard hired by Quick Trip in the stores, and they've moved around merchandise so that it's not as easy to come in those side doors and grab the liquor, which is what they were stealing, and then heading out. Now, then when they grab the liquor, they have to walk around aisles of chips and things.
I mean, think about what you're
so
saying.
they're complicating it.
Chris,
I know.
Think about what you're saying.
I know.
Chris, great point.
That's ridiculous.
It is. But that's what we've come to. That's what the world has come to.
Eric Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing?
He
Eric?
is here.
Tabitha Hassell rock and rolled to that. Look, what if it wasn't armed security guards? What if it was like you put obstacle courses in the way?
And that's exactly what they're
with
doing.
Tranquilizer guns.
Dude, don't dismiss my tranquilizer darts.
With machines that are set with computers that if you grab something, you get hit with a tranquilizer
We're in
dart.
extreme times.
Like a soda machine, there's the tranquilizer
What
dart
about a
machine.
tripwire?
Tripwire?
Oh, my God.
No, look, if you can walk into any venue, let's say you want to get a 6-pack of beer and you don't want to pay for it. What if you made it so complicated for them to run out of the door that they never tried it? And if they did try it, tranquilizer darts came flying at your head. Come on.
What if
they
they press a button and as they're heading out the door, there's stolen merchandise that shocks the H out of them as they're crossing the line?
You can say hell.
Okay.
Don't give her that. Don't give her that
H-double-L.
leeway. She'll use other words.
You can say shocks the hell out of them.
Yeah. I'm just saying that was a great idea, Tabitha. You have like an obstacle course between the valuable stuff and the door.
But what's what Chris just said?
I know, it's so sad.
It is. Just think about what we're talking about. We're going to get into that. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Ty Dennis, the public safety officer for Rockwood School District, what he says is happening to police, what's going on with all these shootings. He was in the gang unit in Atlanta and St. Louis right now, proving to be one of the most dangerous cities in America, and it's not getting any better. Coming up at 9 o'clock, what's going on with Mike Parson, our governor, and why Scott Vaughn from the Missouri Times says this is the most critical time, most important time that Missouri's seen since Greitens quit. It's gotten very, very crazy. Plus, in the 9 o'clock hour, a 9-year-old girl challenging her school board about hypocrisy when it comes to politics and Black Lives Matter in the schools and the messages being sent to kids. Packed show. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Back right after this if you want to give us a call before Ty at 9:30. The phone number, 636-695-2915. Back right after this.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Live on 100.7.
The Viper.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me. My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Hello, St. Louis and St. Charles County. This is John Londoff Jr. along with my good friend and partner, Jimmy Sappho. Jimmy, folks are wondering how Johnny Londoff Autoplex has become the fastest growing pre-owned dealer in the area so quickly. Are you kidding me?
Sir, for over 80 years, folks have trusted your family to give the best customer service, a great selection, and the lowest prices possible.
And don't forget our free lifetime powertrain warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
Visit us in St. Peters
and at LondoffAuto.com.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at www.pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Start with everyone with a brand new puppy they cannot leave home alone. Well, there he is now, disemboweling a sofa. Now narrow it to the puppy parents who need to get their prescriptions refilled today. For you, there's Walgreens same-day prescription delivery. Medication sent right to your door from the local Walgreens you already know and trust. So you can spend all day at home teaching your new puppy some manners. Elroy, roll over. Or just sit there and tilt your head. Aw. To join, text JOIN-RX to 21525.
Compass Health Network is excited to announce the opening of the newest Express Care location on Newtown Boulevard in St. Charles. Compass Health Network accepts private insurance, Medicaid, self-pay, and a sliding fee scale. Compass Health Network cares for the whole person, the whole family, the whole community, with locations in St. Charles, Troy, Wentzville, St. Peters, and the newest Express Care on Newtown Boulevard by 370. For information, call 636-723-8465 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org. Ben's Moving and Storage in Wentzville is essential to the housing market and is open. To keep our family and yours safe, storage and leasing payments are window serviced only. Packing boxes and supplies may be picked up at the window or delivery is available. Our movers use masks, gloves, and sanitizer wipes, and we ask the same of our clients. Our clients have to move and our employees have to work. United as a team, we got this. Stay safe, stay healthy. Ben'sMovingAndStorage.com or find us on Facebook.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Edge. You know it. We know it. It's fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio anywhere. 100.7 FM, The Viper. And you can also catch us at Facebook, 100.7 The Viper as well. You can always give us a call as well. I wouldn't do it right now because we're getting ready to talk with Ty Dennis. He is the Rockwood safety officer. We'll be talking about what's going on with all of the gang-related activity, the guns, the shooting deaths, the police deaths, the just lawlessness that we're seeing all across the country that we've never seen. And it's fair to say that. Phone number, though, 636-695-2915. We'll get into that in just a moment. Also at 9 o'clock, major story brewing in Jefferson City with Governor Parson, talking about major cuts. He is angry unless they get some sort of deal passed with Medicaid expansion. It's off the charts. Wild what could happen.
What is the options he has, though?
There just aren't. There's no money. And when there's no money.
And that's the key. Isn't that what we it's like you're starting to see if there's a problem in one part, like our tax base is collapsing in certain parts of the city because people are moving out and blah blah blah. This is the product of not doing everything properly in government. That's the thing. Everything is great on paper. Everything is this utopic society. You can never get there. And I don't see what the fix is in any of this stuff.
I know. I'll be looking forward to talking to Scott because I'm not 100% understanding exactly what's going on.
Well,
I have a good idea because we need Medicaid expansion.
Fantastic.
We really do.
Then fund it.
But the problem is there's parts of that plan that we don't want, that we shouldn't be funding.
And that's what we're going to get into coming up at 9 o'clock. Eric, you listened to the first segment. You heard what we were talking about when it came to all the violence, the shooting, the walking into stores, which we were just talking about, stealing what you want, prosecutors not prosecuting what they it's almost as if it's not a murder or a violent crime, it doesn't matter anymore.
And even if it is a murder or a violent crime, it doesn't matter anymore. That's the problem. It's very frustrating listening to this because yesterday we had Rick Pogue come on and we had
And by the way, thanks
and we
to
had
Nick and Rick.
Yeah.
The Nick and Rick show for coming on at 9:30.
Right. And I don't care anymore. I mean, if these kids up there in North County and the leadership up there and the police chiefs and our beloved mayor.
Well, it's not just North County.
It is.
No,
well,
it's
the majority of it. I mean, it might spread to Florissant. It might spread
shootings and
south.
the crime are happening in St. Louis.
If
it's
anything
happening
like
in South
that,
St. Louis as well.
If anything like that happened downtown O'Fallon, Missouri, you would have national news. It would be like 42 helicopters over the scene. That's the problem.
If
Vic.
what happened?
If that kind of shooting happened in this area, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, nothing. It would be like you would have major cops. It'd be amazing. Down there, it's like it's not down there. They're taking notes.
We got on set last night because this was kind of breaking news for us. We got on set at 9 o'clock, and I asked Mandy and our producer because they can hear us talking. I go, why aren't we calling this a mass shooting? If it happened in a grocery store,
Absolutely so.
I said, if this happened in a grocery store, if it happened in the county, if it happened at a school, we would be calling it a mass shooting.
Absolutely.
And it gets all this attention. It was a freaking mass. And you know what? They all said, that's a good idea. He's like, I thought about terminating that. So for now on, I think we're finally going to call them mass shootings because they should be considered
Absolutely.
mass shootings with every intent of showing it because it is exactly the same. And it should get the same coverage.
Yes.
Whether people want to see it or not, whether they're tired of seeing it or not.
And it's not like us white folk out here in the St. Charles area are going, sucks to be them, screw them, let them shoot themselves. No, we're terrified. We're horrified with what we see out there. And we're like, this is your opportunity, police chief. This is your opportunity, mayor or county executive or whatever it is that's getting shot up. This is your opportunity. Shock and awe that thing. Let's go. Let's put some ivermectin in the system. Let's get out there. Let's put these kids in jail for a long ass time.
But the problem is, Eric, people don't care. They don't care. People don't care. People don't care.
You frustrate me when you say that. I am sick of it
but
because
people don't
your
care.
attitude is the
What do
thing
you
that
mean
is.
people don't care?
Your attitude's killing everything. It really is.
No, it's not.
I talked to Rick Pogue yesterday. I said, "Is there a backlash coming?" He goes, "Not just yes, but hell yes." I talked to Nick yesterday. I go, "What are you seeing on the ground?" He goes, "I'm seeing a backlash coming."
But you're talking about two Republicans who live in
Right.
Republican areas.
I think they talk to everybody.
I hope they do. I like Rick. I like Nick. But keep in mind, you got to remember
This
who
is the
people are
only
hanging
hope
out
this
with.
have. This is it.
But Eric, the problem,
This is the only hope you have. What the people in St. Louis proper and North St. Louis, they want to live safe lives like we are.
Everybody wants to live a safe life, but here's the problem. And you can tell the difference between how things work in one area versus the other. I'll tell you what, a lot of people say this. I don't agree with it, but a lot of people tell me when I talk about crime in St. Louis City,
they don't care.
And all of these homicides, they say it doesn't affect me. I don't care because they say
that's
it's
the most
black
callous
people.
thing I've ever heard.
They say it's black people shooting other black people. It's gang members shooting other gang members. And they don't feel like it affects their life. I'm not saying I agree with them, but that is actually what people say.
Just remember,
it's just too often. I mean, it's like a reality TV show at this point. Literally,
Eric,
you can
go
ahead.
2 months ago, if there was a quote backlash, there was an opportunity.
I disagree.
I
know where you're going with this. I know where you're going.
You can disagree all you
and
want,
I'm gonna.
But facts show that you're wrong.
You're right, but I'm going to tell you why.
And that's because
why I am right.
When the city of St. Louis had a chance to vote for somebody who was pro-police, who was pro-increasing police, he finished in third place.
Okay, let me explain. Let me explain.
He finished last amongst the Democrats in that, and that was Louis Reed.
Let me explain.
Kara Spencer even beat him.
Let me explain. Pop culture and politics came.
Those are facts.
Pop culture and politics came, and they had this perfect storm. You had this BLM thing. Black Lives Matter was the nirvana of hairband music. They came in and they destroyed. Nirvana destroyed hairband music. That's because it was fashionable at the time. Black Lives Matter destroyed everything in politics for a while. We're going to find out that BLM, that the Cory Bushes of the world, that these people that do not believe in policing, that these people that believe in critical race theory, that these people that believe that are desensitized to these shootings in North St. Louis, this is not going to be fashionable forever, Vic. And there's going to be an uprising, and there's going to be a backlash.
It's not, Eric, it's not fashionable. Shooting
it is
deaths
fashionable.
No, it's not.
There will be an
the
uprising
politicians,
in that
the
way.
politicians that won.
Well, all I know is
don't
there's
know.
a lot of violence going on right now, and we now join our friend Ty Dennis, Rockwood Public School District Safety Officer. Ty, first of all, thanks for joining us on the show. I do wish you the best with your Atlanta Hawks. I know you're a big Atlanta Hawks fan, and they're getting ready to beat the Philadelphia 76ers and advance to their conference finals. So congrats on that, because they've come out of nowhere.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
I'm very excited. You know, the Hawks originated in St. Louis.
Exactly.
With Bobby Costas.
St. Louis tie-in.
Yep.
Exactly. And I hope they take down the 76ers. I really do. I'm a big Trey fan. So
Well, they've already taken them down. They're getting ready to play the Bucks.
I mean the Bucks. Excuse me. That's what. And I hope that they take them down. I really, really, really do. I do. I like Trey a lot.
At this point, they're playing. They've already surpassed expectations. Nobody expected them to make it past the first round, and they went into two hostile environments, which is New York City and then Philadelphia, to win. So,
well, enjoy it.
That's saying something.
Hey, that's our smile. That's our fun for the day. The rest of this conversation sucks, and I'm sorry.
Correct. I caught the tail end of what you guys were talking about, but go ahead.
Yeah, 7 more people shot last night in the Greaterville neighborhood. 3 more deaths.
Wow.
This comes after multiple deaths on Sunday on Father's Day, and over 12 people shot on top of it. A St. Louis City cop I know on the ground says, Vic, this is gang-related violence. What do you know? If anybody knows about gangs, it's you. Nobody on our airwaves, nobody on our line. No, there might be a few people in St. Louis that know as much about you when it comes to gangs. What's going on? Is this true?
For me, my background, I've worked gangs for the last 10 years. I was a cop for the last 16 years. And just like in St. Louis, Atlanta, and most metropolitan cities have the same problem. One, we can associate it with COVID. A lot of people have been tied up in the house. A lot of people are finally getting out. Things are opening back up. We can also associate it with a lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people are stressed out. But then we can also associate it with gang violence. And that is the problem that most cities don't want to discuss, because at the end of the day, the gang problem has been brewing for years. The gang problem started for me. I grew up here. It started back in the late 80s, and it's only gotten worse. I think in 2000, I often tell people in 2008 when the housing market crashed, the first thing that we did away with was after-school programs and things like that. And now we're only seeing the product of that, because a lot of the kids that grew up with nothing to do, or when you drove by a ball field and you don't see kids, what do you think they're going to get into if they don't have anything to do? Chances are now with smartphones and the internet, you can see how gangs do things, and it's attractive. And a lot of kids, if you don't have the proper guidance, that's how they went down that line. With gangs comes violence, and just like you're saying, the violence is up here, it's up in Atlanta, it's up everywhere, and a lot of the politicians, they got to pick their battle, because at the last year, with everything that came from the George Floyd unrest, police reform is the big topic. And although we do need police reform, we do need accountability. That should be a given. We also have to address that it ain't just a police problem. It's the communities that the police serve. They're not. Some of the stuff that the police are doing is for a reason. And for me, we would have to attack a gang problem by cutting the head off the snake.
Yes. Ty, let me ask you this.
Identifying that we have, it's just like going to AA. Do we have a problem? If we have a problem, what are we going to do?
No doubt about it. We all agree, everybody in this room and yourself, and heck, everybody that we've talked to on the air, they agree this is ridiculous. St. Louis is now the murder capital of the planet. It is what it is. Now, I have to ask you, let's not get into the theoretical on this show. because the theoretical is only going to get more people killed. What are the tactics right now, starting today, 6 o'clock p.m., whenever? What are the tactics that we have to do to go make those areas in St. Louis safe, to start to root these gangs out, or whatever they are, the people that are coming out of their house because of COVID, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's against the law to have violent crime. It's a felony. What are the tactics that we have to do right now, starting today, to solve these problems? Shock and awe.
Okay. If this is in my crystal ball, right? So this is my opinion. First, we have to come up with a game plan that is suitable with all parties involved, state, federal, and local. The prosecution, your district attorney office, and the police have to get on the common ground and work together. Any joint investigation, you have to have a prosecutor on board to work with your local PD, because local PD is the boots on the ground. Your federal prosecution has the power to really get more resources in to assist your local PD. And they have to have a common belief on how to attack the problem. They have to basically identify the problem. Okay, what areas are we attacking? For us, for example, I use Atlanta because that's where I work, okay? In Atlanta, we had a music video that came out, Pull Up With a Stick. Y'all can Google it. You can YouTube it. It looked like the Taliban recruiting video. Guys jumping around with assault rifles, this, that, and the other. We literally had a meeting. I was assigned to the ATF. We had a meeting. We had to go through frame by frame and identify everybody that was in the video. We then went back and seen who was on parole, probation, that was in the video, that wasn't allowed. Already, they're not supposed to possess a firearm. So therefore, that's a violation. That's low-hanging fruit. Then we began to try to do buys in a specific area, or just try to get within the area to see what information that we already had that we can begin to start on. As we started picking off people, then different other things came about, different traffic stops and things like that. But one of the biggest pieces that we created was the community piece. The police are not there 24 hours a day. They have to have a relationship with the community of the people that live there that don't want these problems either. Everybody that lives in North St. Louis aren't violent. Everybody that lives there don't want to be a part of those problems. So therefore, you have to have a relationship with them. If you don't, we're only getting how many ever hours that the officers work. That's the only amount of work that you're getting. So if, like for myself, if I work 40 hours a week, I'm only working 8 hours a day. What's happening in those other hours? So it's one of those things where you can't just arrest your way out of the problem. You have to build the relationships and get the trust of the community to assist the police that serve that community.
That sounds like a long process.
It is.
And it's not
and it doesn't sound like it's going to help
but
now.
You got to think about it. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. We're talking about trying to get the city back on track. At the end of the day, the problems didn't happen overnight. This is a long building process that got us here. So we're going to have to do another marathon.
Let me ask you this. What do you think
track.
about your prosecuting attorney right now? What do you think about your mayor trying to get rid of cops and trying to put in social workers? Just real quick, because Tabitha has a question for you.
They have an uphill battle because at the end of the day, they're trying to bring reform in their own way. And we can often sit back and criticize them and say, oh, what are they doing? Which I'm sure a lot of people do. But at the same time, they're trying to bring something different to the table as well. So at the end of the day, it's like they're caught in the middle. They have to be able to entertain both sides and be equally not biased to one, and they have to be equally just.
Before Tabitha asks a question, just from the Facebook line to remind people, Ty grew up in St. Louis in a very tough neighborhood. He was part of the desegregation program that sent him out to Marquette, just so people understand Ty's background. He was in Atlanta. He's a retired officer. Now he's back in St. Louis. He runs Clippers for Cops, which we'll talk before he leaves, which brings tough communities and police together to talk about tough topics and how to make things better. And he's joining us on The Edge this morning.
Hey, Ty. If you look back in 2020, there were around 286 homicides in the city of St. Louis. Over 90% of those homicides were black on black homicides. A black person killing another black person. If we could eliminate black on black crime in the city of St. Louis, guess what? There would be no homicides. And so we can't talk about it because if we say black on black crime, we're racist. And if you talk to somebody in the black community, they don't want to talk about it. They say that's our problem. It's in our community. Let us deal with it. But no one's dealing with it. If we can't talk about it, how can we resolve it?
And that is the elephant in the room. At the end of the day, there is not just black on black crime. There's
Well,
white on white
I'm talking
crime,
about homicides.
Asian crime,
I'm
and
talking
so
about
forth and
homicides.
so on.
286 homicides, Ty. They were almost all over 90% black on black. 286 homicides. If we eliminated those homicides, there would be 2 or 3 homicides in the city of St. Louis. That's a big problem. I'm not talking about all crime.
You are correct, and that is the elephant in the room. No one likes to talk about black on black crime. Just to combat what you said, what I'm getting at is in New York, L.A., do we ever hear white on white crime? No, we never hear anything about it.
And it happens. It happens in other cities, but we're talking about
And
St. Louis
that's
City.
the point I'm just making. But at
I
the
understand.
end of the day, for me, when people say Black Lives Matter, that was always a cry for help. Now, some people are offended by the statement because, of course, it's been adopted to be a political stance. At the end of the day, all lives, whether it's a black person killed by a cop or a black person killed by his neighbor, it's a problem. Because
Absolutely.
that's somebody that lost their life. That's somebody that wasn't able to live out their potential.
Absolutely.
And so it's one of those things where we have to address all of it at some point. And until we're able to sit and talk about it, just like Vic was saying, that's why I do what I do. That's why I love doing what I do. Having these conversations, not only with you guys. I love coming on this show and talking with you guys.
We love you, Ty.
Because
We're glad you
guys
come on.
Provide a different perspective, and I'm able to provide a different perspective to you, whether we agree or disagree. It's called empathy, empathizing with something you may know nothing about. And that's the only way we're going to begin to even get a grip on any of it, because at the end of the day, although this is an inner city, like you just said, they happen in the city, if we eliminated that, blah, 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 whatever, it's not just a North St. Louis problem. It's a St. Louis
Ty,
problem.
the thing
Because
about
when they say the St. Louis is the murder capital, they don't say, well, in North St. Louis, it's the leading. No, they say St. Louis. So
Right.
that represents all of us.
You know what's
Chesterfield,
so
West County, so forth and so on, and we all have to work
Here's what's so amazing is I think that our conversations are starting to come together. I feel this like there is no our side and your side anymore. This is bullcrap. This is when we have these conversations on the air now, you and I seem like we are hitting right in the middle. We might have a little fringe kind of like theoretical disagreements, but my God.
We agree on some points, and we disagree on what we disagree on. And I don't take offense to what you say.
No.
Or I hope you don't take offense
No,
to
because-
what I say. This is my opinion. That's why Vic knows me, because at the end of the day, I'm not a talker.
At the end of the day,
I talk, but I live what I'm saying.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, I'm not a person that's just saying, well, they need to do this. Or I do it myself.
No,
and I've been doing it. And I'm going to continue to do it because we need more people that's out there doing it.
And here's
including-
the conversation, because it's like when I hear Tabitha, she gets slammed for bringing up this black on black. Screw that. You and I, let's just pretend like this. We're both, let's say we're both Cardinals fans, and I think that we need to focus on pitching. And you're like, no, we have to focus on putting the ball over the wall. It doesn't matter what we think the Cardinals need to do strategically. We want to see them win. And we want to see St. Louis win, and you want to see St. Louis win, and we're seeing it from one perspective, and you're seeing it from another perspective, and the conversation that we churn up on these radio shows, it kind of helps everything. It's like, well, we all are on the same team, and that's what everybody has to realize. That's it.
But that's part of the problem, though, because when what's happening, we have to have different walks of life at the same table to have these discussions. I'm on a panel with somebody out of Pennsylvania, and he sent me a slide on something. And the first thing was about, it said something like, in the beginning of the days, a criminal was hung. And as soon as I saw it, of course, I'm like, whoa, you can't say that. I'm like, if you walk in a board meeting and say that, you're going to instantly turn them off. And as soon as I said it, he said, oh, my God, Ty. I said, what? He said, I showed this to 10 people, and all of them were white, and nobody saw that. And he said that's why you have to have diversity on these type of panels and different things like that. And I say that to say, in government, we have to have a diverse group. We have to have people from different walks of life, because everybody don't see it the same way. You believe what you believe because of your experiences and what you believe. People from different environments believe what they believe because of what they've experienced. And so we have to come together at the same table to have these
on the
discussions
Facebook line,
to a common
Ty,
ground.
on the Facebook line right now. I want you to respond to this. One of our friends says more cops won't stop crime. Is that true or false?
Of course, that's not true.
That's definitely true, because we can't police our way out of everything. In most situations, whenever there's an uptick in crime, we flood the area with crime, and then we victimize people that actually live in that area that has nothing. They're just trying to go to work. But then if it's a road, think about it. If in your neighborhood, if they set up a roadblock, you're on your way to work, you're like, man, why they keep stopping us? I ain't did nothing. I'm just trying to go to work. And some people that live in North St. Louis, exactly, like, for example, on Natural Bridge, everybody speeds up Natural Bridge. So now they put in turnstiles, different stuff. They might do roadblocks. It also grabs people that has nothing to do with it, and that's unfortunate. So then you have a mom that she's probably struggling to pay her bills already, right? And she gets pulled over and she forgot to pay the car insurance, and now her car getting impounded. Different things like that we can't police our way out of this problem. We can put 1,000 police out there, although it would help. At the end of the day, a criminal is going to find a way to do what they do. It's just like gun laws. With a gun law only prevents a law-abiding citizen from getting a gun. If I'm a criminal, I'm going to get a gun whatever way I can get a gun. And so
That's true.
These are different things we have to talk about. It's not just a police issue. We have to come up with a community and a sound infrastructure to make it work overall.
But hey, Ty, I know that we can't do this. We don't have the funding to do it. But I read a study they did in a city where they were experiencing a really high rate of homicides. And what they did is they took officers and they placed them on that block. There were several different blocks, one officer per block. And the officer, he didn't pull people over for no insurance or registrations or anything. What he would do is he would sit in his car for his 12-hour shift, and he would get out and he would walk around the block once an hour. And they proved that while that officer was on that block, no crime occurred. And I know we can't do that everywhere. It's just not practical. But I think that proves that if we did have more police officers and they had more of a presence in some of these neighborhoods, and I realize those people, maybe they're going to go to a different neighborhood and commit a crime. But I mean, eventually, if we have enough police officers out there, I really do think it cuts down on some of the crime. You
are correct. Officer presence is the number one deterrence of crime. If I'm going to rob a bank and it's a cop there, I'm going to go to the bank without a cop. You're 100%
absolutely
correct. But at the same time, what officer is first walking the street right now? We've made guns so readily available that in this day and age, it's like, who's signing up for that?
I agree. They're walking targets right now.
Has been in order if we want better policing and different things, we have to pay more.
Absolutely.
And the training that the officers receive has to be longer. Like a cop goes to the academy 4 to 6 months. He goes to 12 weeks of field training, and then we're dropping him in the number one murder capital of the world and expecting him not to make any mistakes. That's not realistic.
No, it's not.
If I'm going to do surgery, I have to go to college for almost 10 years to be basically considered an expert. And I think we have to take that into consideration. I can be a manager at Quick Trip and make more money than being a cop. No offense to anybody that worked at Quick Trip. But I'm just saying, that's what we're asking. We're asking for a cop to be a therapist, a bulletproof, and make no mistakes. Don't be scared. And that's not realistic. And so we have to rethink what policing is in America as a whole. It's like, in this day and age, policing has changed. In Atlanta, I was a part of almost 400 officers that have since left the force in the last year. And
terrible.
They'll tell you, we're hiring, we're constantly hiring. But they're not telling you if we hire 400, we lost 450. And so we're still behind the 8 ball. So those are just things that I think that would help long term.
Ty, we got about 5-6 minutes left here. You hit one of the subjects I was curious about. Oh, not even that much, Chris? 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
2 or 3 minutes.
3 minutes. If you could.
Go.
Yeah, Ty, another officer was shot and killed in Denver yesterday. Officers killed by shootings up 40% this year. You're a former officer. You're now a public safety officer. How does that make you feel? And what kind of a message can we really get out there to stop? Because it seems to a lot of people, even us in the media, that something's happened where people are like, it's free game on police.
And it's basically the lack of respect for what police stand for. Back when I was growing up, it was a respect thing. You respected, like if a cop showed up, it's almost like, a cop. Now it's like one of them, and I think we have to get back to making that it an honorable job. But that comes with us as officers making ourselves available for people to get to know us. Like, I feel like you know me as a person, so you look at me different. And I think we have to make the badge more humanized in that way. It's sad that nobody signed up to do a job to go to work to get murdered. And that's just the reality of it. Me even being a cop, I never wanted to die for being a cop. I wanted to do my job, go home just like everybody else. And when you hear about an officer dying, that's why it gets so much bad, like 21 gun salutes, because it's sad, because this person, usually they're young, usually they have a young family, and that's another child growing up without a parent or whatever it is, and it's unfortunate. I've lost friends as a cop, and it hurts because this the same person you blood, sweated, and tears in the academy with or whatever, and to see them lose their life, all you're thinking about when you're at the funeral is, that could have been me. Or how does my kid, what if I died now? Would my 2-year-old remember me? Things like that start playing in your head, and then you start saying, is it all worth it? Is it worth me doing this, or should I just go work and be a manager somewhere else doing something else?
It's exactly right.
A lot of people ask me, why did you leave? Was it because of the George Floyd protest? No, that's not why I left. I left for a better opportunity and a safer opportunity. And who can blame me for that?
So before we go, Vic has talked about just earlier, talking about making the news reports saying a mass shooting in St. Louis, and that is going to be a big jump for local news. Do you agree with that? Should we call these shootings in St. Louis mass shootings?
Well,
like you might see in Columbine?
I always thought of a mass shooting as when somebody walks in the office building and starts shooting people.
Well,
at the same
multiple
time,
people dead. How about that?
Say it again?
Multiple people dead. That's a mass shooting to me.
Technically it is. And I don't know about the media plays a huge role, because at the end of the day, some people only read the headline.
Bingo.
And if we say mass shooting, it's going to make St. Louis seem even worse than what it is.
Well, that might be it might be one of the keys of the success. Then is to put some more spotlight on.
Hey,
this
we
area.
run out of time. Ty, real quick, can you? What's the latest with Clippers and Cops, and how people can join that, or back it, or donate to what you're doing with Clippers and Cops?
ClippersandCops.org. We're on. You can look us up on all the social media platforms. We still do it once a month. On Zoom, we will be going back in person in July. We're going to do the first one in Atlanta. Eventually, try to get here to St. Louis to start it as well. We also, in Rockwood, we do conversations with the SROs. We've been doing it since I got here in October, my 15 resource officers. We meet on Zoom with our students, and we talk once a month and just answer their questions and let them ask us whatever they want. The whole goal is to make our officers human, so they can see them not just as a cop, but as a person. And by doing that, I can show you countless cards, letters from students just saying, thank you, I never knew a cop. I never knew this about a cop. And so the whole goal is to make the cop a part of the community in which they serve.
Love it.
ClippersandCops.org.
We'll talk to you again soon, Ty. We'll see what we got going on. Best of luck with your Atlanta Hawks, and try to have a great day, my friend. We appreciate the time.
Appreciate it. Y'all be good. Good luck to y'all.
Thanks, Ty.
All right, Ty Dennis. We got to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got your morning headlines. Plus, we go to another major controversial topic in the state of Missouri. As I'm being told, arguably the most critical time in Missouri since Governor Greitens' scandal and when he had to quit the job. I mean, this is all about Medicaid, cuts coming, Governor Parsons pissed. It's a fiasco. We're going to talk about it coming up right after this with Scott Vaughn of the Missouri Times.
Wake up. The Edge Morning Show.
Contractors Flooring Supply is your Mohawk Revwood Select dealer. This is water-resistant wood flooring without compromise. In stock with free underlay at just $287 a square foot. Contractors Flooring Supply has solid, rigid core, waterproof plank stock. They carry a huge inventory for the do-it-yourselfer, or Contractors Flooring Supply will do the installation for you. Always free estimates at Contractors Flooring Supply, next to the new Rural King, Warrenton.
What's more American than celebrating the 4th of July? Getting your fireworks from a veteran. Dogpack Fireworks in New London's better known and has everything you need to have a blast this 4th of July. For 29 years, owner Michael Watts and his family have been providing top-notch products at mind-blowing prices. From firecrackers to 500-gram cakes. Whether you want a little or a lot, Dogpack Fireworks has it all. Open Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. until July 10th. Dog Dog Patch Fireworks. Next to Woodsy Acres and Salt River Trading Post in New London. Look for the daily specials on Facebook at Dog Patch Fireworks.
Good morning, privates! Good morning, Drill Sergeant! I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation, Private. Astute.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant! Have a change of heart with Honey Nut Cheerios. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
If you want the best, don't settle for the rest. Come to F&S. F&S Collision Repair provides the best customer service, quality of work, paint color match, and paintless dent repair. They do it all. No job too big or too small. Just what your car or truck ordered. F&S Collision. Call today to schedule your appointment and get that car repaired. F&S Collision Repair.
Time for some upgrades? A new deck, a privacy fence, or maybe a whole new look with new siding. But who do you call? What you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. They are locally owned and have over 30 years experience in every kind of fencing, siding, and deck jobs. Free estimates and everything is done right the first time. Bad Boys Construction is veteran owned and gives military discounts. So what you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. Online at badboysconstructionllc.godaddysite.com. On Facebook at Bad Boys Construction LLC.
Now another hour of The Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles. The Edge Morning Show.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank and Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank and Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Viper Weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray with a wonderful Tuesday forecast. Lots of sunshine. Pleasantly cool out the door this morning. A little patchy fog here and there, but no big deal. Nice all day long. Comfortable humidity levels, 79, 80 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Temperatures mainly in the 70s, but dropping through the 70s for evening plans. 60 for the low. Wednesday, sunny and 85. Thursday, partly sunny, 88. Friday and Saturday, periods of rain and thunderstorms. Get a little concerned about some heavy rain and some severe weather, but that's a long way off. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7 The Viper.
River Electric, a Touchstone Energy cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We are getting into what we've been talking about. 7 shot, 3 dead in the Greaterville neighborhood in a shooting last night. That was just one of the major incidents that happened. We also have stuff going on from Sunday where we had over 12 shootings and other multiple people dead. Still trying to figure out what, if anything, can be done right now. And a little bit of better news, Webster Grove student, semifinalist. Her name is Colette Giesen-Tanner. She's a semifinalist for the Scripps National Spelling Bee. That stuff's not easy. Those kids are amazing. So she went to Hickson. She graduated from Hickson Middle School. The semifinals will be on Sunday on ESPN2 from 6 to 10. Go, Colette, go knock them down. Cardinals had a day off yesterday. They get back to action tonight. They take on the Tigers in Detroit. Cardinals are only 36-36. We know they've had what appears to be a bad season. They're only 3.5 games out of first place because they fortunately play in the worst division in baseball. Thank God. A BP station broken into yet again. It's been multiple times in the Mark Twain neighborhood. Maybe this is a situation that Tabitha was talking about, that Quick Trip now hiring armed security guards to watch over their businesses. Maybe BP were planning on doing something of a similar nature. Absentee ballots are available now for St. Louis City's August 3rd special election. You can just go get that. Not a big deal there. And there's also a protest planned outside St. Louis Public School Board meeting tonight in response to the schools closing. We've gotten some education on that as well. And another sign to COVID ending, Mercy Hospital now loosening their visitation rule restrictions. Before, it could only be one person. Now you can have 2 people. it's better than nothing, that's for sure. And a topic we're getting ready to talk about right now, Governor Parson is threatening lawmakers with some big budget cuts over Medicaid impasse. They don't get it done, something bad's going to happen. Let's look at your morning headlines. I'm Vic Faust.
The Edge Morning Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. What an hour. Is this not the fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio anywhere or what? Special thanks to Ty Dennis for getting us up to date on his thoughts when it comes to all the violence that we're starting to see. The causes, what can be done. Really right now, it doesn't seem like we're getting any answers from anybody on what can be done right now.
I'll give you answers.
It's more of a long-range goal.
No one asked
Answers
me.
that will happen to stop it.
Oh, damn. I can help. But,
Okay.
hey, I'll just be over here in the corner when you need me.
Oh, you mean
I'm like Beetlejuice.
You mean on your
I'm like
Wentzville
Beetlejuice.
couch.
Just say my name 3 times and I'll come fix everything.
That's Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Thanks again for that fast hour. We appreciate everybody joining us. Of course, we'd love it when you share the show as well. On Facebook, 100.7 The Viper. You can also give us a call if you want to. The phone number 636-695-2915. But now we talk to the man who I say knows more about Missouri politics than anybody else because he's lived it, he works it, he does it every day, and he knows more things than anybody. And that is the one and only Scott Fawn from the Missouri Times. Scott, thanks for taking some time to join us this morning.
Good morning from the state capitol. How are y'all today?
Oh, you're in Jefferson City today. Did you decide where you're doing lunch yet today?
I am going to do lunch at a place called the Grand Cafe. They have a menu item called the Fawn. It is essentially
The
some
Fawn.
French fries with steak on top and cheese on top of that. It's excellent.
It sounds amazing.
It does.
It really
So
does.
good.
Well, you're going to need something to hold you over today because you guys may be back in session before too long. What in the hell is going on right now over this impasse with the budget cuts? You say this is, and I've been promoting it throughout the show this morning, Scott, the biggest deal to hit Missouri since the scandal that we saw with former Governor Eric Greitens. If you can get everybody up to date, what's going on and why this is so important.
Well, the Eric Greitens stuff was obviously had sex involved, so everybody talked about it for months and months. It just kind of snuck up on people. So every year for about, 40 years, I think it was said, I couldn't source the actual date, Missouri has taxed hospitals. They've actually taxed themselves and put that money in a pool that the federal government matches, and it essentially pays for health care for poor folks. So, people on Medicaid, and frankly, in rural Missouri, even people that have insurance, there's not enough of that business to really have a hospital in like Sedalia maybe. So this money comes in, and it's about $2 billion. So it's a pretty good idea. I think during the Reagan administration, this concept was come up with. It helps fund a lot of stuff. So it just passes every year, right? No big deal. Well, this year, they've decided to make it about abortion. And anytime you make things about guns or abortion, it gets a little tough. But in Missouri, they always come down on the side of pro-life stuff. Every time, you could just mark it down. The sun's going to rise in the east. The Cardinals are going to play in the spring, and Missouri will pass abortion bills. However, this isn't as much an abortion bill as it's a funding bill. And so they got the two, merged together. And at the end of session, everybody's thought, well, they'll work this out. Because for 40 years, Missourians have worked this out. Well, this year they didn't. And even after session, people thought, well, they'll work it out. Special session, 2-day deal, done. Well, now we're bumped up on the deadline, which is July 1st, and nothing's done. And people are starting to freak out. And you know what? I'm the person, Dick, when we talk, I'm like, this will work out. Don't worry about this. People should worry about this.
That is you.
If something doesn't happen, this is bad.
Explain why it's bad. I mean, Medicaid and Medicare, all that stuff is it's confusing to people like myself who have had their own insurance for forever, whether it's through a business or paying for it. How is this bad exactly? And maybe this could be good, and we can put a spotlight on how actual Missouri's finances actually work.
I think it will do that. Especially, I think you're gonna see people like myself talk about this, and I have been since the end of session. You're going to see folks like Vic talk about it on his show now that it's getting highlighted. Where you're going to see folks pissed is after the July 4th holiday, when their community college starts taking classes that you can't register for now, and that's when people are going to care. But the real point is, I think the Republicans I can tell you how this is my just white trash intuition on how this got here. And I mean, there's people that'll argue, and they're probably smarter than me, and they're probably right. I think what you're really seeing is the Republicans have had the majority for 20 years, and they've done it all. There's no abortions in Missouri. My 5-year-old son can go get a newsie this afternoon if he wants one. There's no gun control. So now they're trying to get involved in local government, and they're trying to get involved in the federal government. And I think what you're seeing is, everybody comes to Jeff City, especially in our culture, where you look at your phone, and what's the first thing you look at on your phone when you open your Twitter app? How many likes you got or notifications, right? There's a rolling want of that gratification. And so folks come to Jeff City, they want to pass something. Well, they passed all the abortion stuff. So what they're trying to now extend abortion into other things like the FRA, and it's totally understandable.
Who's trying to do this, Scott?
Pro-life, but it's a reach.
Scott, who's trying to do this? What do you mean? Just so the listeners can understand.
So it started with Paul Whelan. He is a legitimately...
so representatives.
He's a senator. He is just as pro-life as you can imagine, sincere, good guy. Bob Monder is pro-life as you can get. They really care about stopping abortion. They really do. And they think they can leverage this money to kind of find a way to cut into the number of abortions a little bit more. And will that work? I think if I had to guess in Missouri, always bet on the pro-life side winning.
But Scott, what I don't understand, and I hope you can explain this to me, because I had no idea until today that abortions were covered under any type of spending plan. I'd always thought when somebody goes and gets an abortion, they have to pay money out of their own pocket. So if abortion is part of this Medicaid expansion program, does that mean abortions for everyone, or is it only people who've been raped? Is it special circumstances? I don't understand.
No, abortions aren't covered by any federal money now. There's some folks that think that it's possible that the Hyde Amendment could come in, could be taken out. The Hyde Amendment's a federal amendment that makes sure that no tax dollars are used for abortion at the federal level. And in Missouri, that's obviously the case. So there's some drugs and birth control that they think could be used for abortions. And it's the old Catholic argument of where does birth control stop and abortion begin? That's really what you're seeing here is some folks want certain types of birth controls not to be covered by Medicaid because they think that's abortion. Then there's some of these drugs could be used in an abortion potentially. And then some of these drugs, like a lot of drugs have multi-uses. Some of the drugs on this list they're wanting to cut are you also used to treat breast cancer. So, they're trying to, they have the pro-life folks, a lot of times the media, people mock them and roll their eyes. They're sincere people. And let's be honest, the bulk of the state agrees with them. But what you're seeing is a shaking from not an abortion bill where they just come in and say, we think this could potentially be used in an abortion. We're going to outlaw it. Now they're tying it to this money, which I didn't really know existed until I started covering state government. So
wow,
it's a pretty easy way it's not an easy way, but it's a unique way to expand the pro-life field. But there's a real cost if they don't get something done.
Okay, Scott, if nothing is done, talking with Scott Fawn of the Missouri Times, if you don't follow him, you should right now as well, because nobody knows more about what's going on with our state politics than Scott. I'm concerned. I haven't seen Governor Parson as angry as I saw him in a press conference yesterday. I can't remember the last time I saw him get upset or angry like this, except when he was calling out Dr. Alex Garza in St. Louis for what he thought was misinformation when it came to COVID. What happens if there's not an agreement? You talk about people having to suffer at their community colleges. What kind of cuts are we talking about?
Well, when you have to fill a $2 billion hole.
Okay, it's $2 billion. Wow.
You cut everything. And it will be community centers, parks. I mean, here's
it's not going to
like,
happen. Something's going to get done.
I am with you on that. I'm sometimes not a good guess because I'm the one that's like, oh, come on now. This will work out, right? And so I usually downplay the drama because usually the drama, is a little manufactured and the real stuff real drama, worst case scenarios don't actually happen. But when you start talking about abortion, it's like the Middle East. When God's on both sides, hard to compromise. And in this situation, you've got a real problem of you have some senators that believe this is right. We have to do this. No questions asked, no matter what. And I think if they would make this a bill, the bill would pass. But the way it's attached and the timeline, I mean, what I think will happen, just my own, if I looked into my crystal meth ball of predictions, I would say that what happens here is they do run this up to July 1st. The governor does make some cuts. We're all having a good time on the 4th of July weekend, don't care. We all come back to work after the weekend, and we're like, what? That's weird. And then people start getting progressively ticked, and then something happens. That would be but it's kind of odd that we got here in a situation, and it does reflect poorly. If you have a problem with state government, it can't be the Democrats' fault. They haven't had a lick of power in a very long time. So this is a Republican problem, a lack of leadership on everybody's part, and, very seldom do real people notice and suffer from political stunts or from issues with state government. You don't really feel it. In a month from now, if we're on here talking, you will be feeling this. Regular people will be noticing something different in their lives, and they start to get pretty ticked off when they start to notice.
And the Democrats, they don't have to really lift a finger right now. They're probably just basking in it all. Is there any fat in the state budget right now that can be cut and reallocated to fix this hole?
I mean, if you told me if the solutions guy that's over in the corner, if that guy came in, right, and applied some just business principles and cut the brother-in-law at the Department of whatever, you could find, if you told me that you could take 2 months of your life and find me $10 or $20 million in spending that you could make an honest case to cut, I would say sure. If you told me you could find $2 billion, I would tell you that you were full of crap.
Where did
There's
it
no
come?
way.
Where did it come from before? I don't understand. Why is there a $2 billion hole in this thing? And last year we were fine, and all of a sudden we're not.
So it's because of a revenue. Revenue didn't go down. This entire revenue stream got cut out. So right now, hospitals tax themselves, and they put it in a big pool to fund Medicaid. So you don't really see it on your bill. It's on their profit. So, like, Don Sorensen writes this check, right? Vic Faust and Scott Fung, when we go to Mercy, we don't see this on our bill. Don Sorensen writes it on their profit.
Don
And then
Sorensen,
the federal
CEO of
government
Mercy, so
matches
people
it at a
understand
large
that.
level. So that's kind of how you don't ever see this, but the state has to authorize hospitals to do this. You can't just do a tax, right?
Okay.
Like the radio station can't just levy a tax on advertising and then pay it back to themselves and keep it. You have to have government authority to call it a tax. And they used to fund this like 10 years at a time. And because Republicans wanted more control in the legislature, they started doing it every year. And it became a negotiating point, something they haggle over. But everybody knew it had to be done, so it was sort of a fake bluff. Well, this year, it's not fake. It's become a real problem. And it's one of those things that starts off small you've never heard of, and let it go on for a month, and regular folks are going to be like, what are they doing? Get it together.
Hey, Scott, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I want to know what your answer to this. Is it going to be Greitens or is it going to be Schmidt?
I'll give you my
Or
my
somebody
breakdown.
or somebody else.
Or someone else.
I think Martin McCloskey is not who I thought he was. He's a thoughtful guy. He's not an internet meme. I thought, I didn't know. I never heard of him. But when I saw the thing he did, I thought that was a little much. And I just thought, this guy would be kind of a joke. Not a joke. He's a serious, very intelligent thought. You should have him on the show. You'd like him.
He's been on the show.
He's
Been on the show.
Okay,
And I really don't like him.
I don't really care about the gun story. That's the rehearsed whatever the consultants walk you through. But start firing questions at him. He gives you real thoughtful answers. I kind of like him. Running for office is extremely hard. We all like to joke about these idiots that are in office. It is very, very hard to run for office. If he holds up to the scrutiny, which is tough, but if he holds up to the scrutiny, I think you could see him really cut into Eric Greitens' numbers.
I don't agree with that at all. As much as I love you, Scott, I can't agree with that.
Well, you asked him for his opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. And I'm saying my opinion. And the
See
reason
what I
why
mean?
I brought
Give
this
me
up.
your opinion.
Yeah,
A
go
lot-
ahead.
yeah,
Tabitha Hassell, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
My opinion is that, and I talked to a lot of people about this yesterday, and people kept asking me, not that anyone cares what my opinion is. I think Schmidt has it. A lot of people I know like Greitens, but there's a lot of people out there who still have a lot of animosity and don't trust him. And we have to remember, Greitens was a lifelong Democrat. He just became a Republican when he ran for office. He's a Democrat.
I guess what I'm saying is I think Schmidt is the beneficiary of McCloskey. I'm not sure McCloskey takes votes from Schmidt. I think Martin McCloskey does take votes from an angry. Eric Greitens' people are angry people. Now, he gets other folks, but his bread and butter, the base of his coalition, are angry people that are mad about something, usually skew a little older. If you're mad about something, Eric Greitens will tell you whose fault it is and let me help you out. It won't be yours. It'll be they, them, some boogeyman, whatever. That's his folks. McCloskey, because of what he did to the protesters, touches a nerve in there. And I think he could take votes away. He'll take part of Greitens' coalition away for sure.
Keep an eye on Schmidt. I think that Schmidt's the guy because he's across the board thoughtful. He's a proven track record conservative. He's on Fox News a lot lately. Hey, that's a check mark right there. Let me switch gears with you real quick.
I think we're saying the same thing. I just think McCloskey helps Schmidt.
Maybe, and I you know way more about the X's and O's when it comes to politics than I do.
But before,
sure.
Are you going to switch gears off this topic?
I am.
Before you do it, can I ask him a question on that?
Yeah.
What about the Democratic side? We can't leave that out. I know Is
there a Democratic side?
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Sam Page?
And Nicole Galloway isn't running for state auditor anymore. So it's like we may have no Democrats in office.
I'll give you a name. I think Scott Sifton would need a lot of help to win. He's the Democrat, probably the leader in the field now, former state senator.
That's who I
County.
thought. Exactly.
Very smart guy. But I'm going to give you a name. And this is, if we get to the holidays and Eric Greitens is the presumptive front runner for the nomination, there is one man who has had more Missourians walk into a booth and check his name more than Thomas Hart Benton, Kit Bond, Symington, Danforth, and that's Jay Nixon. And I think Jay Nixon is personally offended by the thought of Eric Greitens representing Missouri in the
Oh,
wow! Whoa, man!
I thought Jay's making too much money now.
I think he definitely is making a lot of money. I seen the shoes he had on the other day. He didn't get those in DeSoto, but I think that Jay Nixon. Look, Vic, you look these people in the eyes all the time. You see the fire, right? And he didn't
public
lose.
servants
He
are
went out a
public
winner.
servants.
How many politicians, unless they have a health problem, how many of them go out a winner? They usually run until they don't win anymore, or they die, right? And Jay Nixon is a politician. His dad was a politician. He is a politician. And if you're telling me, I just know him. I think he's personally offended by the thought of Eric Greitens representing Missouri. I think Joe Biden would throw all the money behind him. I think Jay Nixon has some. Ferguson will be a problem for him. How he handles it.
Yeah.
But he could. He's the one person that could beat the one Democrat that could beat an Eric Greitens. Now, can he beat Eric Schmidt? No. Jay Nixon probably can't beat Eric Schmidt because of the party. The Democrat brand of Missouri is not a healthy one, but he could maybe beat Eric Greitens.
But aren't early numbers showing that Greitens is leading, whether people want to believe it or not?
Oh, I think he's definitely leading. But I think anytime you have somebody with the name ID he has, a year and a half out, I think you're going to see him leading. I don't think most folks are interested in this race because Eric Greitens is an interesting character and McCloskey's interesting. If you didn't have people that had like a sex dungeon and an automatic rifle pointed at protesters, we wouldn't be interested in this right now.
Otherwise known as Tabitha Hassell's house.
Okay, now.
Sorry.
Just look at her shirt.
We'll see. I think if you ask who do you recognize, who you for, and then I think you're going to say Greitens right now is going to have a plurality. That's going to come down as these other folks. Eric Schmidt is a great guy. The more he's introduced to Missourians on a large level, his numbers are going to pick up. Vicky Hartzler, Congresswoman from over just south of Kansas
A lot of people like her.
She is legitimately a Christian conservative. I think she's more formidable than people give her credit for. But I don't. I'm with you. I think over time, Greitens' numbers will slip. He'll lose some of that support to McCloskey. Schmidt's numbers will climb, and then there's going to be a meeting. I would say sometime around Thanksgiving in Washington, and they're going to call either Vicky or Eric in the room and say, "Hey, Schmidt, that is, one of you two will be the U.S. senator. One of you got to quit, and then that'll be the real nut cutting."
Oh, those meetings happen, huh?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes, those meetings happen on both sides, Republican and Democratic, Eric.
Wow. Anyway, moving on. I have a question for you. I think
we'll let you go after this, Eric.
Well, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll keep you around.
Scott.
But I think Parsons doing a great job. I think there's some things that he has to do to maybe DeSanticize himself. That's an adjective. DeSanticize himself a little bit on.
He did with the gun bill.
Great. Well, let's go past that now. There's a lot of people in the St. Louis and the Missouri area that are very troubled by this critical race theory, and a lot of states are jumping on board, outlawing it. Is this something that Parsons can and eventually will do? Will he become a DeSantis and maybe send some cops to the border like the rest of his friends that are on the conservative side? Does Parsons need to be maybe a little bit more proactive on some of these things moving forward? I just think this is an easy thing. You put together a bill, or you sponsor a bill, or you do an executive order, whatever you do, to say critical race theory is dead in Missouri. Is that something he can do?
One, I'm here as long I'm good to be on the radio as long as Tabitha is with us. So if she's good, I'm good till noon or so. Two, if you're looking for Mike Parson to do stunts to get people on Facebook to push like, he's not a stunt guy. He's a serious. That's why when Mike Parson says, "Hey, wake up, we have a problem here," the whole state takes it seriously because he doesn't run around saying, "Oh my God, this thing I saw on Fox News or Twitter." He's a serious dude. So he's not going to do stuff for stunts. But let me ask you a question. Like sending troops to the border, no, he's not going to do stuff. He may be doing it right now. It would be unlike Mike Parson to think. Mike Parson would probably sit back in his chair and think, "Oh, would 50 Missouri National Guardsmen stop anybody from crossing the border?"
Right.
Said, well, of course not. That's just a stunt to make people on Twitter push like. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste the taxpayers' money, especially since we may not have any of it on silly stuff like that. The question I have is, what is critical race theory? What is that? I want to know that. Give me the 20-second rundown of what that even is.
They're trying. The media is trying. The parents are definitely trying.
So
the school boards are exceptionally untransparent about it. And there are people that are learning what this thing is, and they're getting. I just think you come out and you say you teach curriculums not as an editorial, but as a fact. I don't know how you would phrase the paperwork, but
I think you have to define critical race theory before you can outlaw it. Like, what is that?
Well, it seems to be something where it is apparently it is something that is attached to every part of the curriculum that says if you are a white person, you are a victimizer. If you are a black person, you are the victim. It starts to breed hatred amongst the races. It's not hard to believe that the Democrats are pushing this thing. I hope you understand that. And it's something that needs to be talked about now. It's something that needs to be talked about now before it metastasizes into everything.
I think generally, and I believe in data. I think that black folks have got a rougher shake in the United States of America than white folks historically. I think it's fine to state that because I think you're not doing one a favor to ignore history. I think America has had some policies that were racist. I think we've come a long way. It's something to be proud of and to try to do better at. But I also believe, if you just really break it down, you're going to have with any of this stuff. I think the local school boards are the best people to do this. And if you don't like your local school, run for school board and affect it. And to me, I think I've asked this every time somebody brings it up. I ask, what is critical race theory? And I think you're going to have the people.
Well, that's a problem right there. If it's such an enigma, if critical race theory is such an enigma, and the parents don't even know what it is, and it's this thing that is like mind washing a 6-year-old up through their senior year, that you are a bad person and this is a good person, and you need to atone for whatever that is. That's not what school is. You don't send your kids to school for that. 1 + 1 is 2.
It's the parents' job to teach about racism, not the schools.
It's easy to get lost on this show, and we go off the rails often.
No, I think going off the rails is natural because
you have to, Vic. He's asking the pertinent question.
No.
He's asking the pertinent questions right now.
Your question, Eric, was would Parson do this? Parson will not do that.
It's happening in 17 states right now, so why can't Missouri be one of those?
No. You asked him the question. He gave you the answer. Parson's probably not going to do it.
But if the General Assembly passes a bill, because, Parson was a legislator. It's kind of the legislature's responsibility to pass a law.
Yeah, the General Assembly would have to do that, Eric. That would make sense.
Okay.
Is he going to go around the state and, do a bunch of stuff to get Twitter likes?
But Parson has never been that guy. that's going to come
I
in
understand.
and stomp on
And look,
Sam Page. He's going to do things the way that he's always done.
Maybe the key is that we kind of, we just know what this is and stop being so murky about it. It is a thing. There are curriculum details that have come out what critical race theory actually is. It really is not teaching fact, it's teaching editorials. And you're right, we have come a long way in 250 years, and I feel like we don't really need to go backwards to go forward, blah, blah, blah. And I think it is important that our governors in our states and even our mayors and even our school boards understand this is off limits. That's my opinion. I'll stick with it.
I agree with you totally. I just think if you're going to actually implement a ban on something, there are people that want that ban. There's a large group of people that do. You're going to have to come up with exactly what you're banning.
Exactly.
Because it's like anything else. If you pass some vague thing, it's going to be easy to go around it. So I just think the people that are for banning critical race theory are going to frankly have to do a better job of being able to define it very simplistically what it is. Because it's hard to ban something. It's like giving a lawyer the definition. The definitions people have given me are
You're
vague.
right, but remember,
Scott is 100%. No, Scott's 100% right because you have your idea of what critical race theory is. Other people may say something different. Others try to go to the 1619 project. Then there's a vocabulary where you have a definition of what critical race theory is. That really does have to be defined because it can differ from school district to school district.
It does need to be defined because, quite honestly, I don't even
Scott
know.
Knows
I don't
what
even
it
know.
is.
Scott brings up a great point. It's like, what is it?
He knows what critical race theory concept is. He was only asking back to make sure.
I know what it is to me.
Just for
but
a
I can
listener,
tell you
I saw
this.
a
I've asked
Facebook
that question
comment.
a dozen times on different shows and groups I spoke to.
Exactly.
I've
And-
never got a consistent answer.
I haven't.
I know
even-
it's like
Scott,
we all
no,
think
that's
it's
a
a
great point.
workbook. We all think it's a workbook that says critical race theory. Fill this out.
Well, that's
not
why you
what
have
it
to
is
be
at
careful
all.
about saying, well, Governor Parsons should sign something against it. Well, you have to be defined first.
And imagine
I've
this.
never heard of critical race theory until the last 6 months,
Okay.
maybe a year, but probably 6 months.
Imagine this. Let's say there is a workbook that says 16, and I know we're going long. 1619, the class starts, and there's the beginning of slavery, and it was started apparently in some classrooms to keep racism going along. That makes the United States look like a bad place to be. That makes us it demonizes the United States, and that's how maybe a left-leaning teacher, a liberal teacher, might teach it. That's what I'm talking
But
about.
that's who we need to talk to. We need to talk to somebody from the school.
That's who we talk to about this subject.
Because
Well, I think what you need to find, like anything, you ever heard like they say Emma's Law or Billy's Law or Scott's Law? Something bad happens to a kid, you name the law after it passes. That's just kind of the way we do things in America. What you're going to have is an example.
I'll give you an example. This is such a big topic to me. I'll give you an example.
Eric,
hold on.
relax.
One more thing. Here's a topic. They're trying to make it so that there's no advanced learning classes up until 11th grade in some school districts now to keep everything on the.
Once again, who is there and what school district?
Well, Pennsylvania is one of them, and there's another one going on right now
who's
outside of
there?
Loudoun County.
But who's there?
It's part of the school boards. The school boards are saying that
I can't. Okay.
the school board. This is a true story, Vic.
I know, but what I'm saying is when you say things, you go an inch deep and a mile wide. You have to dive all the way down into this, and we're up against a break, and Scott's not the guy to get into all of that.
He doesn't know anything about this. Sorry, Scott.
Well,
I'm
if
kidding.
you want me to, I agree with you, Eric. I think critical race theory. If you're trying to just bash America, you should not do that. But I'm a believer that I like local control of things. I like local control.
Yep.
I think people get what they want. You vote with your feet sometimes when you go to places that you like. I think you're going to see, if you see a Missouri example of something egregious and taught in schools, I think you're going to see a state response. Until then, you're going to see the folks that always beg for attention and do silly stunts.
Exactly.
They're going to do silly stunts on it. But when you're going to see real people move quickly is when you have an example in a Missouri school that you can point to and prove is something ridiculous. Then you will see a state response. It'll come swiftly, and it'll probably be an over-response. Because that's just how we do things in Missouri.
That's Scott Vaughn in the Missouri Times. Scott, thanks for all the time today. Great segment again, breaking down what's happening in the state of Missouri. Let's hope we don't have anything cut, that somehow, some way, the impasse ends, and we'll be looking for that July 1st and July 4th dates that you're talking about. Check out Scott Vaughn in the Missouri Times. You can get him on Twitter as well. Scott, thanks
Always a
again,
good
man.
time. Thank you all.
We appreciate you. You're the best. We appreciate it. Thanks, Eric. Sorry I had to rush you off, buddy. We were trying to get to break.
I just think
We
that
get- we
two
get-
of the most important topics on this show coming forward are going to be the violence in St. Louis and critical
And guess
race
what?
theory.
When we come back from the break, we can talk more about what you just brought up because we're going to hear from a 9-year-old girl who went after her school board at the school board meeting. Just wait to hear what she had to say about political hypocrisy in her school and what she brought up in regards to a BLM poster in her school. All right, Eric, you're going to get your say right after this.
Go.
We'll be back with more Edge right after this. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2, the fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio, 100.7 The Viper.
Grab your coffee. The Morning Edge will be right back on 100.7 The Viper.
Bentley's Marine and Electronics is open in Lake St. Louis and ready to serve you. Check out their marine section for boat accessories, marine audio, water floats and supplies. Upgrade your vehicle with a new stereo, amp, speakers, reverse camera, remote start, and more. And don't forget the home theater. Shop local with confidence and let Bentley's Marine and Electronics show you that they meet or beat the big box stores. On Lake St. Louis Boulevard across from Denny's. Online at Bentley'sElectronics.com and on Facebook at Bentley's Marine and Electronics.
Start your summer concert experience June 26th in Ellsbury with the band's Almost Famous and local musician Jesse Vaughn. The Ellsbury Community Growth Association invites you to this free family-friendly show from 5 to 7 at First Midland Bank and Trust Park. Food and beverages will be available. And for more info and directions, go to growingellsbury.com. Thanks to the presenting sponsor, Heartland Restoration.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swsamples.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. Or order some peel and stick samples to try on your wall. When you're ready to paint, shop online or stop by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store and get everything you need.
Hi, this is Eric Joya, sales manager at the all-new Travers Automotive and RV at I-70 and TR Hughes. I'm personally inviting you to come see our awesome selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Travers Automotive and RV has the largest inventory of lifted trucks and Jeep Wranglers in the market. Our new location also has RVs from Mesa Ridge and Open Range and a huge selection of pre-owned as well. Come see me and my team at Travers Automotive and RV, I-70 at TR Hughes, TraversAutoandRV.com.
The important thing to look for in a roofing company right now is, are they local? Brian Dawson Roofing has served the area for years, locally owned and operated. Brian Dawson Roofing will take care of all your roofing needs, from shingles to cedar shake, replacement to new construction. Call 465-9465 for a local roofing company that stands behind their work. Call Brian Dawson Roofing today, a local, fully insured roofing company. 465-9465. Online at briandawsonroofing.com.
Weber Chevrolet has been in business since 1902. No other car dealer in St. Louis of any brand can say that. Nobody sells more Chevrolet, period. Weber Chevrolet is one dealer with 3 roofs. In Missouri at Olive and 270, and in Illinois Metro East, Columbia, and Granite City. All easy to get to, just follow the 270 loop. Also, all online accessible at WeberChevrolet.com. Right now, Weber Chevrolet is open but very thorough in their cleaning, disinfecting, and social distancing rules. And don't forget, Weber Chevrolet service departments are award-winning and second to none. In fact, other dealers send their problems to Weber Chevy to fix. Now during this crisis, Weber Chevrolet has teamed up with Detroit to come up with awesome deals to help people save money and manage their budget. Discounts, incentives, and the ability to not make your payment for up to 4 months. Weber Chevrolet since 1902, WeberChevrolet.com.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson's here. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Big Faust of Fox 2. By the way, we know we have people who listen all across the country, and that's why we love it when you do and when you share the show. 100.7 The Viper. It is the fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio, and we're glad that you appreciate it. We're glad that you agree, and that's why we're glad that you share the show. You can give us a call as well, 636-695-3776. 2915. We do get a lot of information out, and that's how this show started way back when we were the war on COVID, about 15 months ago, 16 months ago. Who knows? Time goes by fast, but we're here doing it every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m., covering the important topics, talking about the subjects that you just don't hear in mass media all the time, and getting every perspective because every voice should be heard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Eric. You were frustrated with critical race theory, what it is. There will never be a happy median until somebody actually defines what it is and what the school boards get into. But speaking of schools, we teased this going to the break. We've got a girl. She's a Minnesota girl, a 9-year-old girl who only identified herself as Nova Lee. Well, she had a problem at Lakeville Elementary School with the presence of posters that were promoting Black Lives Matters. She said it contradicted what the school board said at a prior meeting with no politics in school. Listen to this 9-year-old girl speaking at the Lakeville Area School Board meeting 2 weeks ago.
Here again. The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school. I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch, I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said, that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I was stunned. When I was here 2 weeks ago, you told us to report any BLM in our schools. Apparently, you know they're in our schools because you made the signs. I said there should be no BLM in schools, period. It does not matter the color you make the posters and the font you use. We all understand the meaning. It is a political message about getting rid of police officers, rioting, burning buildings down while King Governor Welch just sits on his throne and watches. We all know. Changing the font or the color of posters does not change the meaning. I am 9 years old and I know that. You expect me to believe that you did not know what you were doing by making these posters? Come on, people. I do not judge people by the color of their skin. I don't really care what color their hair, skin, or eyes is. I judge by the content or the way they treat me. MLK said, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That dream has come true. I do not care or look at the color of skin, but you make me think of it. I have Asian, Mexican, white, Chinese, black friends, and I don't care. I like them because some of them make me laugh, some are sweet and kind, sporty, or share the love of God. They are just my friends. You have lied to me, and I am very disappointed in all of you. You cannot even follow your own rules. If you're going to do that, why do we follow any rules we deemed unfit or ridiculous? I'm not following your mask rule anymore then. Get the posters out of our schools. Courage is contagious, so be courageous.
Wow.
Backlash.
What a little voice.
Backlash.
Holy moly. Do you think she wrote?
Backlash.
Okay, couple questions there. One.
Did she write it?
Yeah,
or did someone write it for her?
She wrote it.
I don't think she wrote it.
I don't think she wrote it.
The
not
passion
point.
that came out of that was her.
Yes.
I could feel it.
There was passion. And if she did write it, wow, she's extremely intelligent and understands a lot. Now, that brings up the question. I think it begs the question. And we've seen it in schools, and this incident is going on at Villa Duchesne High School right now. We've talked about that on the show. Is BLM political?
Yes, it is. It's not political. It's profitable.
Well,
it's a profitable
we know
business.
for sure it's profitable because we already saw what happened with one of the leaders, and she has since had to step down because of all the houses she had across the country. There's no doubt. Facts show that it's been profitable. Now, is it political, or has it been hijacked by anybody?
Of course it has. Come on. Look, if you play football, you'll know what I'm about to say. The reason that I'm against critical race theory, the reason I'm against child birth credits, the reason I'm against the border, people just flowing over the border, there is a safety in the NFL, a free safety. They see the play develop in front of them. They don't go to where the ball is. They understand that they go to where the ball is going to be. And that's what people need to wake up and understand. And when I say backlash, I'm not kidding. And I'm getting a little frustrated at her about not saying there's a possibility.
Her meaning Tabitha. What are you doing with your hair?
Yeah, stop primping over there.
Twisting.
God
I'm
dang.
anxious.
When I say that,
Eric
I think.
looked
Look,
over
you
and I was
are
like,
you are as liberal as anybody I've ever met in my life. I'll be
am
honest with you.
I'm liberal?
Yeah, that's the truth. Because you have some statements that you say.
Hassell?
I'll get to that in a second. In the NFL, the
And then at
free
some point,
safety,
I get to talk too
fine,
and,
that's
and,
fine.
and come back, right?
Fine. I think you're a closet liberal over
I
there.
am. How
But
did
here's
you
the
know?
deal.
I'm like Greitens.
You see the play develop in front of you, Vic. If you played at Mizzou, you understand what I'm saying. All of this stuff is going to meet in the middle somewhere. And the Democrats are putting together a society that is going to be earth-shattering. It's not going to be the same unless people wake up. And I'm talking about the soccer moms. I'm talking about the Tabitha Hassells saying there is going to be a backlash to this, voting all of these chumps out and fixing everything from New York City to St. Louis City. I'm talking it has to happen.
Okay.
Or this thing is dead.
Can I say
and it
my
is
part
gonna-
now?
I mean, I'm talking about Macy Gray talking about ripping the colors of the United States flag out and making them. I mean, this stuff is.
She's lost her mind.
She has, but she's pop culture, and
I
you need to
know.
watch
Yeah,
out for
pop
that crap.
Culture, you do have to watch out for.
I'm telling you.
Macy Gray lost her mind. I mean, come on.
I'm talking about the George
Can
Soroses.
I talk about black backlash now?
I'm talking about the George Soroses of the world implanting these prosecutors into places like, I don't know, St. Louis, Los Angeles, that have let these cities be denigrade down to their worst common denominators.
But you're missing You're missing
I'm
a
not
huge
done.
part. Well, I know, but we don't have that much time left, and I
We
want
have
to
a lot of
explain my
time.
part.
We have
You've
a whole
gone
lot
for
of
about
time.
5 minutes, Eric.
I'm just
I
saying.
just want to
So
explain
critical
my
race
part.
theory. Let me go back to critical race theory and what this
Back to-
girl did. What this
Can't
girl
I talk
did.
about the backlash first after you accuse
Yeah,
me?
absolutely, absolutely. This girl is just a fraction of the sentiment that's happening in these school board meetings. They are starting to understand that if we let this go any further, it will metastasize like a cancer in these schools. You will never get it out there.
Okay, the Black Lives Matter signs are not going away. There's going to be more of them. And the backlash that you talk about, I agree that we need backlash, but and there is backlash. But the problem is the people who are putting the backlash out there don't matter, because what's happening right now is people like Tashora Jones, people like Cori Bush. There are 1,000 more of them out there implanted in lower level positions within the different governments in every
That are making their way up
major
the
city.
ranks.
They're making their way up the
There's
ladder.
one in St. Louis now that's working with Rasheen Aldridge, and he put out some comments yesterday that became quite controversial. Jane Duker called him out on Twitter. But Eric, there are. This is just, it's part of it. Just like there's Republicans already ready to take Republican jobs. Everybody has people in the ranks.
I just don't think that people.
BLM's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And the soccer
Well,
moms,
then,
Eric,
you know what? Then
the
bring
soccer
I'll
moms
tell
are
you what, I'll
changing.
tell
They're
you what.
becoming more progressive.
I'll tell you what. Bring the crosses back into the school. When I was in elementary school,
You're
there
not
were
allowed
Christian,
to do that. You're not allowed to have
Why
Christianity
not?
in the schools.
Why not?
You're not allowed to.
here's the
Why
issue
is
that you have.
BLM flags
Because
allowed
they
to
want
fly
to
in there?
separate church from
Well, then you're
state.
making my point for
if
me.
BLM is
Wow.
allowed in schools, then support the blue line is going to be.
And you can't, because then you're
is going-
racist.
Yeah,
is
bring
going to
the
be-
blue
no,
line in
That's
there.
going to be put back in schools. And there's a court case, and you're going to have cases like this. Villa de Shin is dealing with it now. I'm just telling you.
Remember when DARE was allowed in high schools?
You're going to be in a situation where you're not allowed
Why?
to have.
Why?
No. Let me finish.
Why?
You're going to be in a situation where you're not going to be allowed to have just BLM, but not Blue Lives Matter stuff. It's going to happen, Eric. You're going to have to allow it all or none of it. Once this goes to the
and
court
crosses
systems.
and people that want to celebrate Thanksgiving and 4th of July and so everything is going to have to
Black
come back.
Lives Matter is no longer about Black lives. It's mainly white people who are backing the movement these days, because of a lot of the Black people
Right.
have said, hey, we're not necessarily taking part in this. And it's the white people pushing it.
You know what's so
and it's
funny
the white progressives
is BLM,
pushing all of this.
This is just a distraction. The BLM stuff is literally the shiny little light over here as all this other stuff is going on over here. You're talking about Joe Biden going over to Europe with a 15% across-the-board tax on corporations. That's one world government type stuff.
Of course it is. And that's where it's all heading. It's all about Marxism.
What
It's
I'm
all about
saying
socialism.
what I'm saying right now is this is a free safety in the NFL watching the quarterback take the snap and understanding where the ball's going to be, and not a linebacker who goes to where the ball is. That's what has to start happening here. What's the mosaic that's getting played out? Do you understand that there is something bigger going on, or do you not understand that?
Of course we do. We talk about that all the time.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is the soccer moms
If you
refer
listen to Tabitha Hassell, nothing's
no one-
going to change.
no one can
Let her
listen
talk.
because you're not
Just
letting
let her-
me talk.
Let's listen to her.
I'm listening.
And Eric, I agree with almost 99% of everything you say every day, but you always tend to forget the flip side of that, is that even though while we care about all of this, we want things to change, the people who are coming out and doing the voting and pushing the voting and doing the ballot harvesting, they want this liberal progressive system. What they're getting right now is exactly what they voted for. They're getting what they wanted. The people in the city of St. Louis that voted for Jones, they're not complaining. This is what they wanted. The people who voted for Cori Bush, this is what they wanted. And those soccer moms you refer to all the time, it's really sad, but a lot of those soccer moms, they're becoming more progressive, more liberal every single day, and they're voting for these people. And you know what? And it's coming into the county. Eventually, it'll come throughout all of Missouri. Progressivism, it's just taking over. And I don't know, that it's a freight train that I don't think we can stop. They want socialism. They want all of this Marxism. And I don't know that we can do anything about it.
I had a Chinese friend that I talked to one time. This was 2 years ago, maybe more. But he goes, I don't give a damn if you give child credit. I don't care if these mothers have babies. Fine, let them. I still will be an entrepreneur, and I still will know how to make money. And these people, there'll be an entire generation that all they know how to do is make money off the government. And he was giddy about it. I was like, wow, that's the most abrasive thing I've ever heard in my life. You're happy that people will literally make $3,000 a year off every kid. They'll go out and have 9 kids, and they'll make money off of that. But you're going to go out and live on your yachts.
But we can't even talk about it. But here's the other thing you have to remember.
What? That is unbelievable.
We won't be able to talk about it because look what's happening. When conservatives try to speak up, when we try to make change, we're silenced. So how are we going to ever fight back if we can't even speak out? Because they shut down every means we have to talk.
Well, but what are you going to do about it?
I guess I'm going to buy a printing press and a ham radio.
It's backlash. That's the only thing
Eric,
you have right now is backlash.
Okay.
Is to look at all of these one by one by one by one.
Okay.
And as a soccer mom, start voting them out.
Eric, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you categorize everything.
Go ahead.
When it comes to backlash, what do you mean? What kind of backlash? Because there's only one thing that can happen when it comes to your quote backlash.
Hey, I want to. Drew, you're right. Child credits are popular. What is my thing with backlash is to look at a topic that's going to make your community worse or confused.
But what do you want? What do you mean backlash though? There's only one way to change
For
it.
some reason, the country decided in their infinite wisdom to put power to people that want to bring overwhelming socialism. Let's call it what it is.
People.
I'm not even worried
So
about
the backlash
it. It is what it is. It's
the backlash
socialism.
has to take place where?
On a national and local
polls.
and state level.
At the polls.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure you
And it happened
people
back when Newt
understand
Gingrich took
when
the
you
speakership.
say backlash.
That's
Because
it.
in my opinion, if you're somebody who wants backlash or thinks it's going to happen, the only place that you have power for backlash is at polls to vote in people that you want.
Yes, and this
But
child
2
credit.
months ago,
Yeah, go ahead.
backlash did not happen in the city of St. Louis. So just remember.
But it was way more fashionable a few
and
months
Eric,
ago.
backlash didn't happen in November with Sam Page. So just remember these things. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think right, and I think that people
so
in
let's see.
Ledoux.
Let's see if things change.
You're right. I guess you're right. We live in a democracy. And to Drew's point, the child credit thing is very popular, and I feel sorry for those families. I lit it from in my heart. I feel like your strategy to go through life is to go have 6 kids, 7 kids to get that $3,000 a year child credit. I cannot fathom that. That is too much for me to understand. That is so evil. That is a strategy that people want to go have more kids so that they can get more money from the government instead of going out and making their way in life and living a insanely fruitful and productive life. And then you go have as many kids as you want because you're a millionaire or because you're wealthy in other ways. So that's the frustration I have on this show with Tabitha is I don't see the same sense of urgency with her and in these conversations anymore.
What do you mean a sense of urgency for what?
She has a sense of urgency.
I mean,
It's
what am I supposed to do outside?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't run myself because nobody would vote for me. I come on here and I talk about it.
She
I post
doesn't
about it on
live in
Facebook.
St. Louis City.
I don't live in St. Louis City. I can't vote. We have no problems here in St. Charles County where I do live. It's Eric. I think the problem is that the problems we see in St. Louis City and in so many other,
Eric,
it's so
you have
complex.
to be quiet. We've let you go crazy.
It's so complex.
No, and this when she finishes, I need to jump in.
Go ahead.
I just don't understand what you say. Why I frustrate you when you don't. I don't understand what it is you expect me to do. I just don't get it. Because what I try to do is I try to look at both sides. That yes, and that's why I said I always agree with you. We do need to do something. We absolutely need to do something. We need this backlash. But I just don't think we can do it. They just silence us. They shut us up. They have goals. I don't know what we can do.
Yeah,
I feel helpless, quite honestly.
Sounds defeative, but go ahead. I come from a locker room. If I'm down 24 points in the
Eric,
halftime, I'm going to come back and get 26.
Yes, exactly. And I'm with you, Eric. How are you going to do it? That's I always ask. You always say, "This is what should be done. This is what we have to do." And then I say, "Well, how's it going to happen?" And there is no plan.
I think there was backlash against Trump for his tweeting, and guess what happened?
So that means
by the other side, we don't have the power they have.
That was the national media.
We don't have the power they have, Eric. That's unfortunate.
Before we take this break, while we still have people watching, listening, we're tired of the BS going on the Facebook line. We're serious. When Chris talks, people listen. And I'm telling you right now, if you continue the crap that's been going on Facebook, and don't even start to, you're going to get deleted. And that's even if you're a good listener and if you don't feel like you've done anything wrong, the other person doesn't feel like they've done anything wrong. We're tired of it in the Facebook. You're hijacking our Facebook line, and you'll be deleted. And if it's a new account that comes up and it's something bad, we'll find you, and we're going to delete you again. This is a great show, and we have great topics. And the fact that we have to waste time on radio to tell you to stop the childish BS that you're putting out, you're going to be deleted. You're going to be gone. And you don't come on there and say, well, somebody else did this. Well, they did it to me first, or I did it. No, stop it right now. Tabitha, how many times have you had to
Many times. And you know what the easiest solution is? If somebody's harassing you outside of the show, outside of the comment line, guess what? Call the police, because that is called harassment. It's against the law, and you can file a police report, and they will get to the bottom of it.
And I hate wasting time on this. Chris is having to go through and look at comments. He's wasting time. Stop it. That's it. Stop it. Or you're gone. You'll be gone from Facebook. And trust me, we'll have somebody else look at it if you start the comments back up again. Okay? It's over. The stupid child, you can disagree, but the stupid stuff, hijacking great commentary, great talk, it's over. We'll be right back right after this.
Show. Back in a moment.
Mom, Ethan's on the tree again.
Ethan, get down.
Can I climb on the swing set instead?
Sounds like it's time to get all your adventure-seeking kids to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They'll soar on Thunderbird, race against each other on Cheetah Chase, the first launched water coaster, and get the thrills they love on all the wooden roller coasters. Get your family fun off the ground at holidayworld.com.
Free soccer! Free arcade! Free sunscreen!
Mark your calendars for barbecue. June 19th, Overstock Outlet is hosting the St. Charles County Young Marines and Marine Corps League. Show your support. Barbecue available 11 till 3. Overstock Outlet, 8621 Highway N, Lake St. Louis.
Remember the beautiful pop and hiss listening to a brand new vinyl album? The warmth in the air, the magic of the sound. Vinyl can't be replaced, and vinyl is back. TheFinestVibes.com sells thousands of premium and collector's vinyl with hundreds of albums under $20, delivered straight to your door. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Bob Dylan, The Beatles, Prince, AC/DC, Queen, Frank Sinatra. TheFinestVibes.com has them all. Shop now. TheFinestVibes.com.
Keep your resolution to quit cigarettes this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. I Quit Vapor carries the salt nicotine systems, their latest juice flavors, and all of their pod systems. Let their staff explain why the salt nicotine system is so effective in helping you to quit cigarettes for good. It has a much smoother delivery and allows you to adjust the amount of nicotine intake. I Quit Vapor is still your one-stop shop for everything vapor. Keep your quit cigarette resolution this time. Go to iQuitVapor, iQuit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. Puff bars and disposables now available.
One of the things we're so dependent upon is our automobiles. There's no worse feeling when you go out to your car and it won't start. Oh, man. Tired of trying to find an honest, reliable mechanic for your car and truck? Town and County Garage in Wright City has kept the Westplex on the road since 1972. The biggest compliment to a company is repeat customers and referrals. When you need honest, reliable, and affordable auto repair from inspections, brakes to engine work, call Town and County Garage in Wright City, 636-745-3626.
Since 1987, Illy HVAC has taken care of your heating and cooling needs. Call Illy HVAC today at 314-808-2162. 314-808-2162.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. We love it when you listen to The Edge. Thanks for joining us. We got something special going on here. Let's keep it that way. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Hey, guys, thanks to Ty Dennis. Join us to talk about all the violence that's going on, what police can do, what city leaders can do. Then Scott Vaughn came on to talk about what's happened in the state of Missouri with the impasse over the budget, Medicaid, and what's going on there. Senator Donder a part of that, and
Then I kicked Eric's butt. That's why he's not over there at his spot. I beat him up during the break.
Tabitha beat him up. He's on the phone calling his mom. He's looking for help.
Oh, my God.
Mom, it's not fair. It's not fair. She abused me. I did everything I could today. I came with all my power. I brought it. I brought it as good as I could.
He's just being so puglish today. I had to do something. I had to step in.
Hey, Chris. Chris Knight?
Yeah.
Chris Blevins?
Yeah.
Chris, hello. What are you doing, buddy? It's good to hear your voice. Are you trying to do
He's
something,
been
Eric?
quiet today.
I was like, Eric's gone off today. We had two amazing
Eric's passionate.
We had two amazing guests. There hasn't been a lot of time to talk about things. We talked about a lot of things.
Eric's coming to a meeting with me on Sunday
No, he's
at the
not.
quarry,
I'm not. No,
and
he's
he's going to stand up and he's going to do his parts. You're going to stand up and you're going to do your part.
He's
And if
gonna
you
do what?
don't,
What meeting? What kind of a meeting is this?
I can't remember what the
What are you
meeting's
ta-
called, but
what
I'm
are you
going to get more
talking about?
details and talk about it. But this Sunday, Eric, you're going. You and I are both going. We're standing together.
It's not that I don't support
You can
Tab.
go out
It's-
and support the soccer moms. You know what? You talk a big game. Now let's see some action.
I don't think I talk a big game. I think I ask questions.
Oh,
I don't
you
think I talk a big game.
Where's this
Eric,
backlash?
you do ask questions, but I think
I
you
just
also,
want to know
you
Where's
also
this
talk about
backlash?
it.
We're going to go lead the backlash on Sunday, the 27th. Let's
I know
go.
there's no backlash. I don't lead the
Eric's
backlash.
like Mel Gibson
I
in
don't-
Braveheart. Fight for your freedom, and everybody rushes,
and then he
goes
runs
the
to
other
the back
way.
of the pack.
What do you think?
He gets on his
Exactly. What do you
horse
think
and he's going the
MacArthur
other
did?
way.
He was beating the Panzers from a nice
Go fight!
lazy
Go, you
lounge
guys!
chair.
You guys, go fight for your freedom. I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're
stay
going.
here.
If I have to go to your house and
Look,
pick your little
the
puggle self
beauty
up,
is
you're going.
it's not about swords and destruction anymore. Just take your ballot, your happy ballot, and you go and you vote for the right person. That's all I'm saying. Don't look at Cori Bush like she's going to bring anything productive to St. Louis. You know she's not. Don't look at these bumbling fools that don't look at crime in St. Louis as helping you when they're
Freedom,
trying
Eric.
to defund cops. They're not. Just backlash.
Freedom Warriors of Missouri. That is the name of
Backlash.
the group. And you are coming with me on Sunday to the quarry.
What's the quarry? What do you mean?
It's a place. I've never been
Where?
there, but it's a place in
Well,
St.
we gotta
Charles
let people
County.
know.
Well, I'm going to talk more about it later this week, but
I need you to,
I don't
need
know
you to
enough
put your
about it
game
right now
face
to
on from
know.
this point forward. You cannot
I've
say
had my game face on it. Where's your game
you
face?
need to from this point forward.
You're just standing over there looking like
Hey,
a
Chris,
little
do you have any
puggle.
war paint in the back room?
You better come
I'll
dressed
go buy
tomorrow.
some.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Eric needs some war
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah. You don't think I wouldn't wear it? Come on now.
I know you would. And then you'd get on your horse and go the opposite way of the conflict.
Yeah.
Love it. Eric, hey guys, awesome show. Thanks for all of our listeners. We'll come back and do it again tomorrow. I love you guys. Eric, Chris, and Tabitha, you guys are great.
Except for Eric. He's a puggle.
Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust.
Your name calling. Wait, did she just name call?
Well, yeah, because she owes you about 100 for calling her mental mid. Or
Yeah, mental
I didn't
midget.
ever call
Now,
her
where'd that
mental
come
midget.
from?
I never called her a mental
You
midget.
call her the militant.
I called her
midget.
the militant midget.
Hey, now.
like 1,000 times.
Thanks, Vic.
What color tie?
Fox 2 News at 5 and 9 tonight. We're going to wear, it's going to be a bright blue tie tonight.
Shanny's up next. Have a great day.